imagine that this is a night before exam and you understand that you're not skilled enough in solving equation. What do you need? A short and clear revision. Join me. Hi, this is Fatima Sadat and welcome back to Physitopia. First of all, if you like this video and you find my videos useful, please hit the subscribe button and like my videos. But as I told you, for solving physics equation, you need a little bit mathematics. I don't say that you have to be really skilled in algebra or geometry or calculus, but you need to know how to solve equations, or you need to know how to use trigonometry here. And it's a shame that you know physics and you don't know mathematics, because it can reduce your mark. So, in this series of videos, I'm going to talk about algebra, calculus, and trigonometry that are related to physics. In the first video, that is this one, I'm going to talk about the rearranging equation and solving them. It starts from really easy equations like what you have in grade 7, for example, like the speed equation, and we will continue to grade 11 and 12 and solve more complicated equations. So let's go to the board. Okay, we're here and we're gonna start rearranging equations in physics. About every equation that I'm gonna rearrange, first I prove it. I learn new algebra for solving these equations, and then I show you a shortcut. That because when you are solving physics equations, you don't need to know algebra a lot. So first I show you I show you how to prove it and how to use algebra, and after that I will give you a shortcut to solve these equations easier. So the first and the easiest formula that I'm gonna show you is, and actually manipulate, is F equal to M times A. Force equal to mass times acceleration. Or if I want to show it shorter, it will be like that. So whenever you see two parameters beside each other, it means that between them you have multiplication. And I just show it in a simpler and shorter way. So let me just give you an equation. An example. If I ask you, for example, you have a mass of 5 kilograms, acceleration is 2 meters per square second, find the force, it's really easy. But if I ask you, if you exert 2 newtons of force on a 4 kilogram object, find acceleration. Okay. So, what do you have here? You have force equal to, you have mass, but what you're gonna find is acceleration. So, we can solve it. First of all, algebra. So, whenever you want to find and solve an equation for example here, acceleration, you are supposed to make acceleration alone in one side of the equation. So, you know that, so here are points. You know that multiplication and division are inverse operations, and also addition and subtraction are inverse operations too. So whenever you want to make acceleration, for example here alone, you have to use inverse operations to cancel other numbers. What does it mean? Look at here. What do you have here? You have multiplication here. So you know that multiplication and division are inverse operation. So whenever you want to cancel this number and the multiplication after it, you have to use division. So I want to cancel multiplication, so I divide, and I want to make acceleration alone, so I divide this side by 4. Divide by 4. And so I have to divide another side by 4 too. What do I have? Due to this division, these two numbers can cancel each other, and this side I have 2 open 4 equal to A, or actually 2 open 4 is 0.5 equal to acceleration. Let me just give you another example. In the relationship between distance, speed, and time, you can say x is equal to vt. Now imagine that we are going to solve this equation for v. So I have to make v alone. Imagine that I know that x distance is 2 meters and time is 1 second, and I wanna find out v. So I say 2 equal to v times 1. What do I have here? I have here multiplication. So what am I supposed to do? I have to use division, divide both sides by 1 because I'm going to make v alone. I have to divide both sides by 1. Guys, whatever you do for this side, you have to do for another side too, because it's an equation. Equality should not be spoiled. So 2 over 1 is equal to v times this one cancels this one, and it's equal to v. Or actually, I can say 2 equal to speed. Another one, another equation here is when we have division. So the first form, let me just write all of the equations I'm solving here. The first form is f equal to mh A. Now I'm using another form that is division. Recall the speed equation. V, velocity, equal to distance over time. This is a velocity equation. In the first example, imagine that I say V is equal to 4 meters per square and time is 2 seconds. Find D. What I have to do is make D alone. What am I supposed to do? Between D and T, D divided by T. So there is a division. I told whenever you have division, for canceling another number, another parameter, you are supposed to use multiplication. So I say, because I want to cancel T, I multiply both sides by T. So what I have here is T times V. Here, these two T's can cancel each other and it is equal to D. And if you can both put numbers and then solve, or after solving by parameters, put your number. I can say distance is equal to 4 times 2, and it is 8 meters. Let me just give you another example. For example, if I want to give you another example that has division, pressure, force over area. Here, I have pressure that is, for example, is 10 Newton per square meters. And now I know force that is 5 newtons, and I'm going to find out acceleration. So let me just substitute the numbers. 10 equal to 5. What I have to do now is making acceleration alone. Making area alone. So here I multiplied this side by T because T can cancel here. I have to do the same thing for this equation too. Multiply by A. Multiply by A. So what I have here is A times 10. These two A's, areas, can cancel each other and it will be equal to 5. So now this one is changed to an equation that is like the first equation we have solved. So I have to do another step, and next step will be, here is multiplication. I want to make area alone, so I divide both sides by 10 because I want to cancel number, and so acceleration will be equal to half squared meters. So in your physics, usually it's enough to have two steps. Either we want one step or two steps, not more. So like here, we want two steps, but in this equation, only one step is enough. But I have you another suggestion. It is the shortcut that I've talked about. Instead of doing these steps, whenever the denominator was unknown, it's enough to do that. Let me just rewrite it. 10 equal to 5 over a. So whenever, like here, denominator was unknown, it's enough to change this side of equation with denominator. I mean, I write a here and I write 10 here. Is equal to half square meter. So don't forget that whenever the denominator is unknown, just change another side of equation let me just write here equation with denominator. Okay, so this is the second example we had. Let me just rewrite it. Ouch. Okay, the next kind of equation we have is a little bit complicated example. It's not complicated, a little bit. Potential energy equal to mgh. Potential energy is equal to mass times g times height. And I can say, for example, here I know potential energy that is 10 joules. I know mass that is 2 kilograms. And I know g is about 10, and I am looking for height. So let me just substitute the numbers. So guys, if I want to talk about the algebra, I have to say, because you want to make h alone, you have to cancel 2 and 10. So what you are supposed to do is a division for both sides. Divide by 2 times 10, 2 times 10. So it will be 10 over 20, and this side is cancelled, only h is left, or actually h is equal to 0.5 meters. But if I want to give you a shortcut, guys, whenever you have multiplication between all the parameters, between all the numbers, just keep the unknown variable and make a division. So just keep it, cancel other numbers, and make a division on another side of your equation, like here. It's not important. Imagine that it's like, okay, right now I can remember a formula that has so many variables, but imagine that there is a formula that it has z, and this side you have a, b, c, d, e, f. So many variables, and you want to find out f. It's enough that you just keep f and divide z by other numbers or variables. So no matter how many variables or numbers you have, it's enough to just keep the unknown variable and divide another side of equation by the rest numbers or variables, like what you can see here or here, and in the simplest way we had in force formula. So let me just add this one here. Now we have to go one step further. Another equation that I'm going to talk about is kinetic energy is equal to 1 over 2 mv squared. So I can, for example, if I want to give you an example, I say kinetic energy is 40 joules and m is 5 kilograms, for example, or no, let me just make it 10 because it's easier to calculate. 10 kilograms, and what you want is speed, velocity. Let me just substitute the numbers. 40 1 over 2 times 10 kilogram times v squared. So guys, I suggest you, whenever you have several numbers in an equation, it's easier to do whatever you have to do. I mean, if between the numbers there is multiplication, do it. If there's division, do it. I mean, make your equation very simple. Put it in the simplest form you can, and then start to solve it. So I say 40 is equal to 1 over 2 times 10 is 5 v squared. So now it's in the form of the first equation we've solved. I told you, always keep the unknown and divide the other side by all the numbers you have. And so it gives us 8. It's not the final answer because it is squared v, and what we want is just v. So I have to take square root, and when I take a square root, I have to put positive and negative both. And then according to the question you are solving, you have to decide about which answer is correct, positive, negative, or both. So let me just add it here. The final equation that we are gonna rearrange is this one. X is equal to Vt plus 1 over 2 At t squared. So imagine that here I have x. For example, I know that x is 4 meters. I have v. This is a formula that grade 11 and 12 will have them. V, for example, is 2 and acceleration is 1 meter over second and meters per squared second. So let me just substitute the numbers. 4 equal to 2 times t plus 1 over 2 times 1 times t squared. So we're going to find out time. So let me just write it. 4 equal to 2t. I told make your equation as simple as possible. So 1 over 2 times 1 will be 1 over 2, or actually half, 0.5 t squared. So guys, we have a second degree equation here because the variable has power of 2. Imagine that and recall that you had this one. The standard form of the second degree equation is like that. So instead of x, I have t here. The variable is t. So let me just rearrange it and make it like that. I mean, another side should only have 0, not any other number. So I want to cancel 4. If I want to explain in algebra, because you want to cancel this one, you have to make a subtraction here. 4 minus 4 is 0. And also, or let me just write like that, you have to add 4 to minus 4. Because it's an equation, I have to add minus 4 to another side too. It's an equation. Or, in an easier way, I can say, because I want to make here 0, I have to move my numbers to another side of equation. And when I am moving to another side, I have to change the sign. So positive 4 when comes this side will be negative 4. So what I have here is 0 because I have moved. T squared minus 4. Let me just make it better. First squared, then x, and then the number. So plus 2t minus 4 equal to 0. For solving such equations, I have a formula, and it says minus b, that is this b, plus minus square root p squared minus 4 times a times c, ac over 2a. And this gives you 2 roots, 2 answers, x1 and x2, based on this equation I'm telling you. But for this one, let's make it. What is b? b is here beside x. So in this equation, b is this number that is beside t, that has first power. So I write minus 2 plus minus a square root. b squared will be 2 power 2 minus 4 times, what is a? A is here, it's beside x squared, so it's the number that is beside t squared. And c is your number that is minus 4, guys, not 4. It has its sign beside itself. So minus 4 divided by 2 times a, that is a is 0.5, and I tell minus 2 plus minus 4 minus 4 times half times minus 4, and it will be minus 8 over 1. This will be 1. And so it will be like that. Minus 2 plus minus 4 minus minus 8 will be 4 plus 8 over 1. So let me just write the final, fraction here. It will be, answer will be minus 2 plus minus radical 12. Okay? You have two answers, 2t, and they will be like that. t1 is equal to minus 2 plus radical 12 and minus 2 minus radical 12. And you should, it is for t1, sorry, and it is for t2. And you should decide which t is good or which t is your answer. For example, about the time here, because my example wasn't real, both answers cannot be 40 because both answers are, this answer cannot be 40 because it is negative, but this one is positive and it can be your answer for time. But whenever you have something like speed, acceleration, and different variables, it's your job to find out which answer or maybe both answers fit you. So let me just give you an example. Solve this question and put the answers of this question for me in the comments. So the last one we have solved was like that. X equal to vt plus 1 over 2at squared. For the multiplication group, solve this example. Plus vi. Solve it for a. Put the equation in the comment. For division part, let me just think. You can do this. Potential difference over the current. It's the Ohm's law. and for the squared part, and solve this for I, and for the last one solve it for vi. So if you like, if you have a topic and you'd like me to cover, then just leave a comment below and tell me what part of the physics and something that is related to algebra and math in physics is hard for you to cover. I'm looking forward to checking your answers in the comment part. Have a nice time. Bye bye.